Okay, now we're talking with Billy Mevers with Mevers Kitchen and Bath Design Studio. How you doing, Billy?
Good, Tim. Good to see you.
You too. You too. Billy, tell us about your role in this historic renovation.
Well, we contacted them when we saw that they had pulled a permit to do this project, and it turned out that I knew Nancy from a long time ago through a personal relationship. And at any rate, the good thing about it is that we were involved with this very early in the process, and one of the challenges, you asked about some of the challenges we faced, were trying to figure out how to arrange the framing specifically in certain areas of the kitchen to give them what all they needed. Specifically, they wanted a walk-in pantry, and they also needed a place to put the air handler and all that revolved near the staircase over there. So that was a bit of a challenge, trying to figure out how to make everything work and also give them what they wanted in the kitchen as well. So we did make some changes to the framing and the way the framing was set up to give them all of that space. Another thing, if you look around, you'll see that there are bulkheads all throughout the house that they had to put in for vents, for ductwork, you know.
For HVAC?
For HVAC, that's right. So, you know, we talked about that, and we figured out how to do the bulkheads properly to allow the cabinetry to be placed so that it looked right, you know. So that was one of the challenges there, and like I say, fortunately we were involved very early on in the process and were able to get everything set up right so that when we came to install the cabinets, everything went smoothly. The only other real challenge with an old building like this is there's never a plumb or square wall or floor in the place. Now the floor in this kitchen was poured, so it was relatively level, but some of the floors up on the upper floors weren't. And so I had a little bit of a challenge there with making sure that the cabinets and everything were level and you know, sat on the floor properly. You know, that you'd run into that all the time with these old homes downtown. And
tell me something. Does now Mevers Kitchens and Baths? You folks you work with lots of contractors, but then you also have a general contractor's license. So Mevers Kitchens and Baths has a bit of know-how in terms of carpentry and construction. And did that help you in terms of being able to work with some of these walls that weren't plumbed correctly and so forth?
Yeah, I mean, we have a sister company, it's a general contracting company, so we do turnkey remodeling projects as well. So, you know, I do have a good bit of knowledge from the construction part of it, not just the cabinetry part. So that helps out. And doing this, as you know, I've been doing this for 10 years, and you know, going through some of the other projects that we've done over the years, where you run into issues like this, that you know, sometimes either the architect or the builders aren't as familiar or don't think about the way the cabinetry ties into it. Knowing those issues that we run into all the time helps us to sort of, you know, foresee a problem. We walk into a house like this that's being remodeled, or a new home, and you look at the framing, you can look at it and say, oh, well, we're going to have an issue here, we're going to have an issue there, and most times we can work around it, particularly if we're involved early in the process.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, kind of take us on a visual tour of the kitchen. Let's Mevers Kitchens and Baths was responsible for all the cabinetry in the kitchen here.
Correct. We did all the cabinetry in the whole house actually, and well, we just start here. We've got a nice professional range. On each side of the range, we always like to provide, you know, a nice 3-drawer base for your pots and pans and baking dishes here. You know, we had the doors are set up a certain way, so we step the cabinets back a little bit to work around the doors here. Have a cabinet coming down on the countertop to give them extra storage right in here. Of course, a stainless hood. Come around here, and actually Nancy, you know, wanted to have the open shelf cabinet over the over the sink here for display. So as you can see, they have a very nice plant there, and a nice jar. And when you come around, we got a double oven here. It's actually an oven microwave combo here. And this was one of the little challenges that we had was with the bulkhead here I was talking about, and rather than bring the bulkhead out and let it step out to bring the cabinet all the way up, we decided to shorten the cabinet and step it back to this other cabinet here so that the bulkhead could go straight across and gave us a bit of a cleaner line there.
Let's come back this way. Billy, what's the brand on the cabinetry here?
These are DuraSupreme cabinetry. This is their designer series, which is their high-end series, and just a really well-made cabinetry. We have great success with them. Clients are very pleased with.
Tell me about some of the features in terms of maybe the drawer construction and so forth.
You got maple dovetail drawers. You got soft close Blue Motion guides, so that the drawers don't slam. In this kitchen, we did soft close doors as well, so that you can close the doors. They close by themselves. Let's see what else. And then we did some nice details like the paneled valance that is actually built into the bookcase cabinet here. It's all one piece there, which gives you a really nice, clean, finished look.
What kind of a stain is on these cabinets?
This is a dark stain on cherry. To tell you the truth, I can't remember the name of it right now.
Well, this project started 4 years ago. I don't blame you.
Yeah, but it's a dark cherry stain. These are cherry cabinets here.
Are you seeing that? I know that white is still a very popular choice for cabinets. What about some of the darker stains and so forth?
Well, we still have a lot of clients that want to do the dark stains. It all depends on the decor, the whole scheme of the project, and as you can see here, they have the dark floors. So I think we wanted it to blend with the dark floors nicely. We have the dark finish on the doors over here. So with that, with the light-colored countertops, it breaks it up. Still, you got a lot of natural light in here, so you can use a dark finish in this kitchen here. A lot of kitchens, you don't want to use too dark of a finish because it makes the kitchen feel small. But here we've got a lot of natural light. We've got a nice big kitchen, so using a dark finish like that is not an issue that you might have in a smaller kitchen.
Great. Okay. Anything else you want to mention about Mevers Kitchens and Baths involvement in the kitchen here?
Well, just that it was a very, very good experience. I loved working with Nancy and Jen. They were great to work with, and I hope to do another project with them soon.
Okay, that sounds good. Let's move to another part of the house where Mevers Kitchens and Baths had some work done.
Okay, that'd be great.
Okay, Billy, we're standing in front of the fireplace, and I understand that Mevers Kitchens and Baths was responsible for the construction of the mantle here. That's a little bit unusual. You don't expect that from a kitchen and bath store.
Yeah, well, we don't do it very often, but a couple of our lines offer mantles, and of course, a lot of people, they want their mantle to be just painted in the trim color to blend in with everything. But occasionally we get people who do want to have the mantle matching, typically the kitchen finish, which is what this is here. And this is from DuraSupreme, the same people that did the cabinets in the kitchen. And they have several different designs that's available, and you basically kind of put it together using different components: the columns, the frieze here, the mantle itself. So it's nice to do. I enjoy doing them, but like I say, a lot of people just want an unfinished mantle and then paint it to match, which we can also do. And so occasionally we do mantles.
Yeah, it's beautiful, it ties in beautifully with the dark floors throughout the house, and of course the cabinetry in the kitchen.
Thank you.
Let's head on up to the master bathroom and take a look at Mevers Kitchens and Baths work there.
Very good.
Billy, we're here in the master bathroom. Tell us about what Mevers Kitchens and Baths was responsible for here.
Well, of course, all the cabinetry in here we did, and as you can see, we did a very nice large vanity over here. What we have is we have some linen cabinets here. And at Nancy's request, we left the tops open for little display areas, which I thought was a real nice touch. And we got a second linen cabinet over here. And actually, one of these was to be used as to hang robes and bathrobes in, which is a good utilization of it. But we have dual sink bases here with clipped fluted corners here, which is a nice detail, and then of course a 3-drawer base in the middle for all your storage of your toiletries and things like that.
These towers are getting more and more popular, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do a lot of those either on the side, and we also a lot of times are doing towers in the middle between the lavatories as well, or the cabinet that sits down on the countertop, and that's a real popular look these days, and gives you a little extra storage in there for your linens, your towels rather, and your toiletries. But we also in this did another panel valance up top, helps hide the lights, and there's a finished soffit up in there that the can lights are mounted in, and so it turned out real nice design, and then we took the cabinet, the crown to the ceiling using a fascian and crown for a stacked crown treatment up top.
And then we've got another vanity. Do you call it a vanity if it doesn't have a sink?
Well, this is actually, you can call it a vanity. A vanity is basically a cabinet, a base cabinet in a bathroom. And of course this one has the dressing table for Jen to put on her makeup, which she doesn't really need, of course. She has that natural beauty. Of course. But again, it gives some very good utility here. Again, a couple of side cabinets for linens and toiletries and things of that nature. And again, the display areas at the top of the tower cabinets. And so this vanity basically mirrors this one here very nicely with the panel valance and the stacked crown on that one as well.
Great. Okay. Well, let's go check out the next bathroom.
Very good.
Billy, we're in kind of a narrow space here, and so was that a challenge to get all of your vanities into this space?
Well, it was a little narrow, but it's not too narrow. Vanity cabinets are 21 inches deep on the base, so it allowed us enough room here to have adequate walk-through space. This is one of the rooms that the floor was pretty unlevel in this room, but we worked around that. And but again, we had a nice long run here, so we were able to do a nice wide vanity and also include the linen towers at each end, a little bookcase in the middle for display. And again, the panel valances above, which gave a real nice touch. And then again, we did the stacked crown, taking it to the ceiling here. So turned out nice, and we didn't have too much problem with the narrowness of the room. Gave them a nice Jack and Jill here.
Great. Okay. Anything else you want to add about the vanity here?
I think that's about it, Tim.
Okay. Were there any other spots that we missed in the house?
Well, we did a couple other spots. We did a bar. We did another.
Yeah. Let's go check out the bar.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Billy. What are we looking at here?
Well, we got a little. This is actually like a little morning bar, morning kitchen, where we're up on the second floor, the main level of the house where the bedrooms are. So we put this in here so that in the morning they can come in here and get a soda or a cup of coffee or whatever they want here. So what we've got here is we've got a dual refrigerator drawers here. I believe one at the bottom one is a freezer, the top one is a refrigerator, and then little bar sink here, and we've got wall cabinets here with some seated glass in it with the mullion doors, and just gives them a little place to get a drink or whatever they want, either in the evening or in the morning.
Gotcha. Well, that's beautiful.
Saves you from having to walk all the way downstairs, to get a soda or whatever.
Billy, this is an amazing project, and it really shows your the colors of what Mevers Kitchens and Baths is capable of doing, especially with a challenging project with an older home with out of plumb walls and things like that. So congratulations on that. How can folks get in touch with Mevers Kitchens and Baths Studio?
Well, thank you, Tim. Well, they can. We're located at 630 Johnny Dodds Boulevard, which is at the corner of Johnny Dodds and Shellmore. That's the road that goes into Ion. That's where our showroom is located. Our phone number is 388-9633. They can find us on the web at www.meverskitchens with an S on the end.com. It's very easy to Google us. You can Google our name. You can put in kitchen cabinetry. You can put in cabinetry remodeling, and our name will pop up on the Google site. And So, we, welcome anybody to contact us on any future projects they may have coming up.
Great. Okay. Well, we've been talking with Billy Mevers with Mevers Kitchens and Baths Design Studio at a historic downtown home, downtown Charleston. Thanks so much, Billy.
Thank you, Jim.
We're now talking with Nancy, the homeowner here in this beautiful downtown historic home. Nancy, tell us about what the project entailed and what it was like to work with Mevers Kitchens and Baths.
Well, we bought this property so that we could turn it back into a single-family home. I already live in the neighborhood and have a house down the street, and so we bought this property because it was a tenement house and restored it. So it would be a single-family home for all time. And Mevers Kitchens specifically were bar none the best subcontractor we have ever had. They were here at every turn, helping us with design and installation and the issues that came up because of issues from other subcontractors. But their products are first in class, and their service is first in class.
I'm Tim Barkley with Charleston Home and Design Magazine, and today we are at a beautiful downtown Charleston home. We're talking with Mark Regalbuto with Renew Urban. How you doing, Mark?
Good. How are you?
Doing just fine, thank you. Now, Mark, you were the general contractor on this project. Tell us about the scope of the project.
Well, as I believe you had heard, this would be, I think, categorized as a bit of a rescue project. You had fabulous clients with a fabulous property that had gone on for some time, and the people that had come before me, I think, weren't as sensitive to what the client's needs were, and balancing those with the sensitivities of an historic property and how to bring it back to life in a sensitive situation. So when we were brought on board, we had a short timeline in which to essentially backtrack, dissect the house, figure out what had been done correctly, what had been done incorrectly, and then bring it to the CO, or the finished stage. So in terms of the scope of work, it would have been nicer to get it on the front end as opposed to having to backtrack a little bit. And it gave me pain sometimes to go back to my client, which I really liked, and say, this is what we discovered and this is going to cost us a little bit of money. But I think we got through it well, and I think the finished project speaks for itself.
Great. And tell us about the scope of the project? What was involved?
Well, you've got a fairly large home on three levels, and it's a masonry structure. So getting into walls, making penetrations and things like that aren't as simple as would be wood structure. So we really had to go back, and the plumbing had been done, and a number of the mechanical issues had been done. Regrettably, they really hadn't been done properly. So we really had to go and make repairs in such a manner as to really not tear the house back apart. So that would be plumbing, air conditioning, especially plumbing in this case. We even had situations where vents weren't put in for dryers. So you put the dryer in, well, where does it vent to? Well, you got to go through a wall to get there, and those weren't done. So in terms of the scope of work, all the mechanicals and a lot of the finish work had to have been done. Thankfully, there were some great contractors already on the job, I must admit, and some of those we saved, like the cabinet guys. Mevers, fabulous, helped us out, worked with us. One of the biggest things we had to address was a large structural element in the roof, and you'll see it. We have a very unique for downtown, a large, about 12 by 12 glass roof. So we're not talking just a skylight, we're talking about a glass roof that actually retracts. So one of the issues we had to do there is that hadn't been installed yet. And we had to go back, reframe the roof to accept this properly and structurally, and then bring the proper power requirements and mechanicals to the roof to operate it. It's really a neat, fun detail, which on all the projects I've never done anything like it before, so it was exciting for me to do it.
It's kind of a glass roof that retracts, so you can open the roof area and climb up and enjoy the great view.
Absolutely. You simple as pressing a button. It slides onto itself, somewhat like an accordion might, and then you grab onto this custom mahogany ship's ladder that we built for them, and up to the roof, and provides access to a nice panoramic view of the city.
Great. And so just to kind of review, this is a historic home in downtown Charleston, and I understand it had 6 apartments at one time, and that was completely gutted and brought back to a single family home. So basically, it was the only thing that really remained was the exterior of the house. Everything in the interior of the house was gutted.
Yeah, absolutely. And the client's done a good job at maintaining a photographic record of that. Because that had been done in terms of the apartments, a lot of the fabric, the historic fabric, had been taken out of the house, which is tragic. But you see that all throughout the city. But what's great is when the client decided, hey, let's make this back into a single-family residence, reduce the density, which I have no doubt the neighborhood like, and then we're very sensitive in bringing the house back to life, especially on all the exterior fabric which still existed. All the cornice work, everything's been redone.
And so when the homeowners began the project, and I understand it was about 4 years in the making, the original contractors didn't live up to the homeowners' expectations, and so they were removed from the project. And that's when you got involved, kind of halfway, at some point, halfway or whatever through the project.
That's correct, and it's really important that the contractor communicate properly, both verbally and in writing, with the client, and really walk them through. I deal with clients that are tops in their fields, and of this caliber home, these are all really demanding professionals. You have to communicate with them in a certain way and be very precise and explain to them what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. And I do think that's sometimes where a lot of contractors just fall down on the job a little bit, let things go on a little too long before saying, I'm a little over my head.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, Mevers Kitchens and Baths was one of the suppliers on board with the project, and tell us about about what it was like to work with Billy Mevers.
Really, really good. A lot of the work had been done, so the client had already ordered the product. And
what kind of product are we talking about?
Now we're talking about all of not all, but all of the kitchen, most of the bath vanities. And when I found them, a lot of that had been installed. Some had been installed and damaged, and some. So it was, truthfully, they went over and above. They did extra work. They had already done the work for the first contractor. I came in, undid a lot of it, and they came back and fixed it and did it right, honestly at no charge, which was really great. And one of the reasons I'll work with them again is because he just wanted it right for the client.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, tell everyone how they can get in touch with Renew Urban.
Well, very simply, we got a website, renewurban.net. Our specialty is historic. So if you have a historic structure in downtown or potentially a new project, we'd love to talk to you. renewurban.net.
Sounds good. Mark Rigalbuto with Renew Urban. Thanks so much, Mark.
Thank you. Appreciate help. Thanks for the time.
You bet.
Sorry.